That is why I hope and expect that the ranking member will join me in seeking Special Counsel Robert Mueller's complete report, as well as all of the underlying evidence he has compiled, as many of the questions raised by this resolution are the same questions we hope Attorney General Barr will answer in the coming days. Surprisingly, in response to a question from the press this weekend about whether the Justice Department should release any material that the special counsel collected containing damaging information about the president, the ranking member stated, quote, "It's not the Department of Justice's job to give Chairman Nadler and House Judiciary, or any committee of the House or the Senate for that matter, what they want to do to go off on a purely partisan investigation to lead towards impeachment," close quote. Congress is a separate and co-equal branch of government with an independent mandate to safeguard the Constitution, protect democratic institutions from corruption, and act as a check against abuses of power. In order to faithfully execute these duties, Congress must see the report, the Mueller report, and its underlying evidence in its entirety so that it can reach its own independent conclusions and hold the president accountable. The House sent a clear message to the executive branch and to the public when it voted 420 to nothing to call for the public release of the report. I thank the ranking member for his support of that resolution. Now that the report has been delivered to the Attorney General, I hope that all of my colleagues will back up their vote with action. In the meantime, I will support this resolution of inquiry, which is a very modest step towards obtaining the information that Congress deserves and requires in order to do its job. I now recognize the ranking member of the Judiciary Committee and the sponsor of the resolution, the gentleman from Georgia, Mr. Collins, for his opening statement.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I appreciate your comments as well, and I think we can move through this, and I think that is a valid look at where we have come from and where we're going to. And I think this weekend, frankly, from my perspective, American people received very good news this weekend when we received the Attorney General Barr's letter informing this committee of the conclusions of the Special Counsel Mueller's 2-year investigation. The top line all included that Mueller finds no collusion. Couldn't be clearer or more hopeful. Now, we're still waiting on the report, which we should be getting, and unfortunately those headlines have been inconsistent with many of the claims repeated over and over but unsubstantiated. As a result, we're looking to bury the lead. The Democrats are eager to bury the lead and sabotage the President Trump at all costs, even in the face of the straightforward conclusion from the Special Counsel and the Justice Department finding that the evidence does not support the obstruction or the collusion in this case. Complementing the Special Counsel investigation was a joint investigation last Congress of Judiciary and Oversight Committees. This investigation unfortunately received little media attention, in part because it didn't align with other parties' Democrats' priorities, and I continue to release transcripts of interviews conducted of those investigations to promote transparency and allow the American people to better understand the origin of the Trump-Russia investigation, and why the conclusion that Americans didn't conspire with the Russians was, frankly, inevitable. To this end, the resolution requests records showing the thinking and actions of individuals who fueled the investigation of President Trump, accusations that long-serving Justice Department officials say the facts don't support. Chief among the records we seek today are the memos written by former Acting Director Andrew McCabe, memos whose existence was confirmed during this committee's transcribed interviews, according to the public reports. These memos recount a proposal to surreptitiously record a duly elected president and invoke the 25th Amendment to remove him. I could just imagine the outrage if this had happened under the previous administration. So as we look forward to this and I look ahead and we're going to move forward, and I appreciate the chairman's words, I do want to address the chairman's concern over a quote that was taken in regard into a longer interview on what I think needs to be released. I am consistent with the proposal that we voted on the floor, which I voted for, and that response did say that the information and what I was looking for and what I was referencing was the classified information, the 6E grand jury information, or ongoing investigations is what I was referencing, and those informations at this point would, if only for the reason to be made public, to do anything or harm or political. I think we'll see from Attorney General Barr, who has went to by the letter of the law completely so far in the regulations in dealing with this, and I'm looking forward to the report that he has said he wants to make as to the letter to both you and I and also to the Senate leadership as transparent as possible. I look forward to that coming forward. I appreciate the chairman's indulgence today and look forward to moving ahead.
Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Collins. Without objection, all other opening statements will be included in the record.